Welcome in to a very special edition of the PHNX Coyotes podcast. And you're right, Craig's not here, Leah's not here, because we know they're having fun in Australia. But I'm here for the very first time in the Four Peaks mini bar, and I'm here all by myself. Well, Emma behind the Mac, because nothing operates at PHNX without Emma. We've talked a lot about hockey in Australia, but you know what? There's still a training camp going on here in Arizona. I thought it was appropriate to give a little attention to the guys that are still here and then have to play the games over the next 48 hours in Wichita, St. Louis, and Texas. And I thought we should take a peek inside what's been going on over at the ice den. So we've got some interviews lined up for today. Sit down, relax, hear what's going on this side of the pond. And we're going to start it off right away with the assistant general manager of the Arizona Coyotes, who is also the general manager of the Tucson Roadrunners, John Ferguson. And we're going to get his thoughts on the first 2 days of camp. We're with John Ferguson Jr., the assistant general manager of the Arizona Coyotes and the general manager of the Tucson Roadrunners. First question, John, is they've been on the ice for 2 days here now in Arizona. How has the camp been on this side of the pond?
It's been excellent. Fast pace. We stress, starting out respect, communication, commitment, competition, and they've demonstrated that. Real tight. Been able to get a flood in between, and a lot of battle drills down low, a lot of small area games, and then they've extended it to the full ice, and give the coaches credit, they were very well prepared.
We've talked a lot about the group going to Australia, and it's a lot of the big NHL names that the fans are familiar with, but there's a lot of guys here. And so from you're the guy that's delivering the message to those kids here. What's the message been from you to the guys that are here in training camp?
Well, they got to take care of their business, and we know on average every year across the American Hockey League and the NHL, you're averaging 10, 11 players per team that are going to play in the NHL. So we got a big group here that are going to be a big part of our organization. They know that. We're going to lean on them. They're very capable depth, and they're going to be guys competing for jobs as soon as the big team gets back from Australia.
You look at that group there, and Bill Armstrong and you have a very good relationship where you communicate a lot. Your time zones are different. They have games and practices at different times. Have you been communicating closely to tell him what you're seeing from the guys here, and vice versa? Has he been able to communicate what he's seeing there in Australia?
Yeah, we have, and it is a bit of a challenge. I think it's 17 hours. We just take 7 off from the Pacific, and we figured out it's the next day. But it's an interesting organizational challenge this weekend, and I've said it to the guys when we started. We're in the middle of executing 5 games in 2 days in 4 different cities on 2 continents in 2 hemispheres, and we can't wait to get started.
So, bringing that up, there are 5 games literally all over the world. And all of you in management and development and scouting want to see all of these guys play hockey. Are you going to get an opportunity to catch up on all of those games?
Yeah, we are. We know exactly when our games in Australia are going to start. We're going to catch that on NHL Network. The guys that departed from the rookie tournament all downloaded all the shifts, and everybody's been well aware. Bear Tournier, Bill, Luds, so we're in constant communication. They know exactly what's going on, but it's a logistical challenge right now. We're operating 3 teams, and credit the players, credit the equipment staff, our administrative staff across the board. It's been fun.
You talk about that, the communication, and you still have to pick a hockey team here. You have to pick players on a club. I know they get back from Australia on Monday, and then the players have a few days off. Does management and development and scouts, do you guys get that time off, or are you going to be sitting in a room hammering this out?
We're going to be hammering things out for sure. There's going to be a lot of catch up, a lot of debriefing, at all levels. But we're going to give them all some time to readjust to the time zones, and we're taking care of business on this end.
You look at your role in Tucson, and a lot of these players, we just talked to head coach Steve Potvin, and a lot of these players will get time in Tucson too. What does the future for this season look like for the Tucson Roadrunners?
We're excited. We're going to be a deeper team. We're starting to bring in, some real prospects, and some of these guys, they can't all make the NHL team. So we're going to get, some looks at, players, Aku Ratu, Josh Doan, finished the season last year, had a tremendous offseason. We'll see Maximilian Zuber. These are, and we've signed some real capable depth players that are going to compete for jobs if not tomorrow, but certainly through the season. And so we've got a lot of depth. We're going to have a higher competition right through our lineup, right up into the NHL team.
It's one of the names you just brought up that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about. If you could let the fans here know a little bit about what to expect from Maximilian Zuber. I know we're getting our first real look at him a little bit at rookie camp and now over the next weekend. What kind of a game does he have?
Real cerebral defenseman, primarily a defensive defenseman, I would say. He's very good around the net, in the corners. His stick skills are excellent. But he also possesses some power play capability, and so he's got a good mix. Just like any other prospect, he's got some things to work on. He's doing that, but he's got real good length, real good brain, good stick. So there's lots to work with for us.
And you looked at the group. We talked about them being in Australia, but does that give different people an opportunity to play? They've got to play 3 games this weekend. So are more players getting an opportunity to get looked at because this opportunity is here this weekend?
That's one of the absolute advantages for the whole organization. There's going to be a number of guys getting more NHL exhibition games than they otherwise would have, and we're taking full advantage of that opportunity.
Thanks, John. Appreciate your time and travel safe.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You know what? It's interesting to hear from other people on other perspectives about these camps. And with John, when he's talking about all the things going on in Tucson, you could see his excitement for the players he's watching now getting ready for Tucson. And one of those players is going to be Josh Doan. And I tell you what, this kid impressed in the rookie tournament. He's looked great in his first 2 days here at main camp. He's part of their first power play coming into this weekend. He's been a real special player, and we got a chance to catch up with Josh Doan. Let's hear what Josh had to say. You're with Coyotes forward Josh Doan. Josh, a year ago right now, you're getting ready to go to ASU and get ready for ASU season. Now you're in pro hockey. How have you evolved over this last year to be prepared for this today?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things in my game that need a little bit of work at ASU the past year, and a lot of it was the two-way game and figuring out how to be a better defensive forward and being trustworthy in my own zone. And I think there's a lot of other things like size and speed that played a factor in getting here to this day. So putting that all into the picture and trying to work on that all at once has been my main focus point since last year to now.
You look at the rookie camp, you led this team in scoring over the 3 days. How do you carry that momentum into what you have to do here in camp for this weekend?
Yeah, I think there's ebbs and flows to the game where sometimes you score and sometimes you're not. And you got to focus on just being the best player that you can be and not letting points really dictate how you play and getting back to work and continuing to hunt pucks and get on the back check and be someone who's creating turnovers and forcing offense for your team and kind of letting the rest of that play out rather than focusing on the points.
I watched your games over the weekend in Las Vegas, and your 200-foot game has improved immensely. Like even in the last year, do you really focus on the defending side of the game as well?
Yeah, I think it's a huge focal point. And if you think of defense as offense, sometimes it helps where you're stripping pucks and you're turning it into offense. And the best time to create offense is off a turnover, and there's stats that prove that where most goals come 8 seconds after a turnover. And so when you focus on it's the analytics sometimes you got to pay attention to. So I think if you can create offense off turnovers and defense, then you're improving your game. So making yourself a better 200-foot player allows you to do that, and that's kind of the focus.
You also got to wear the C when you were at their great tournament. Have you already become a leader of some of these younger guys here? Do you feel that leadership role already?
I think just being a little bit older than some of the younger guys was something that play into experience a little bit, and taking care of geeks and guys like that when just some young bucks. And it's been fun though, and they got a good group of guys that made it easy the last couple of weeks, so it's been awesome.
And how sore is your back from carrying Conor Geekie over the rookie tournament?
Yeah, he
is that offside, Geeks?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Geeks? I just hammered you.
I'm just trying to learn.
I said how sore is your back? How sore is your back from carrying Conor Geekie over the rookie tournament? It's true. He isn't Josh Doan without Conor Geekie over the rookie tournament. Is that fair?
And vice versa.
No, but in all seriousness, the chemistry that you two guys found over that, do you hope to carry that into this weekend?
Yeah, I think when you get a guy like Geeks and you get to play with him and the way he sees the ice, it makes the game way more fun. And if you get the puck to him, he's going to either make something with it or give it back to you, and then you can create something together. So obviously playing with him has been awesome, and hopefully we can keep that rolling this weekend.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know, and I got to admit, that's my lack of professionalism on the end of that interview. I kind of let it get away because Conor Geekie was standing there and he was causing trouble. But you could see the fun that these two players are having together, and I think that's shown on their chemistry on the ice. Their relationship together between Conor Geekie and Josh Doan is apparent on the ice and very apparent off the ice. So let's turn it over and see what Conor Geekie had to say.
Talking to Coyotes forward, Conor Geekie. Conor, kind of reflect over that rookie tournament. Your line was on fire offensively. Can you tell us a little bit about how that was over the weekend for you?
Yeah, I think, we just brought a lot of fun to the game. I think we played the right way. You watch some of the clips or any of the goals, I think, it started in the D zone, and I think that's what, we really try to emphasize, as a line, just, making sure we're clamping down our D zone. And obviously when you get a shooter like Rats, he's smart enough to make that play. And, me and Doan just, have something special. I think, you don't come across it too often, and we have a lot of fun.
Do you guys, and I think that really showed on the ice there, the chemistry between you and Josh Doan, and we talked about it with Josh a few minutes ago. Do you hope that momentum can carry over and carry through this weekend's games when you get an opportunity to play against NHL players?
Yeah, for sure. I think, that's the beauty about us. I think, he's more of a stern, looking, kind of guy when he plays, and I think, I kind of bring the fun to the table. So I think it's a perfect balance. I think we're really excited to, bring what we got and, try and make it as hard as we can for them to say no. I think that's the big goal for us. And obviously, the points are nice, but I think it's just about playing the right way and, having fun doing it.
And you look at, there's a group in Australia, we know about that group, but what's important about you and your game and what you need to do this weekend over the games that the Coyotes have this weekend?
Yeah, I think, obviously the D zone, I think, that's a big thing. It's just if you can clamp down the D zone, it's pretty easy to get the puck, just getting it out and, skating down the ice. But I think for us, it's just more or less just playing hard, right? These guys are a lot bigger and stronger and older than us. And I think, playing with a little bit of chip on our shoulder, good things will happen.
Are you having an opportunity to have fun at all? Like, are you enjoying this whole experience this year?
Yeah, I think, that's one thing about me. I try and, find the good in everything. And I think, anytime you're playing the game you love, right, it's a lot of fun. When you're around the guys, 24/7, whether it's here at the hotel, there's always lots of laughs going around. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place to, straight face and put a chip on your shoulder, but, for the most part, it's a lot of fun.
And you've got 3 games in 2 days. Clearly you can't play in all 3, but is your hope, like this group comes back from Australia Monday and they'll be back on the ice Thursday, is your hope to be here and be part of that group as they go forward into late next week?
Yeah, I think that's everyone's goal, right? I think you don't come into camp, wanting to go home, right? So I think, I'm just going to try and stay here as long as I can and, like I said, make it as hard as I can for them to say no.
Thanks very much for your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
I think those two guys are guys you look for the future of this team. When you look at what Doan and Geekie, you can start to get excited about what this future could hold. And the reality is Conor Geekie is probably going back to play another year of juniors while Josh moves on to the Tucson Roadrunners for the remainder of this year. So what better time to hear from the head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners, who will be behind one of the NHL benches this weekend. Let's take it away to the most often interviewed guest of this podcast, Steve Potvin.
With Tucson Roadrunner head coach Steve Potvin. Steve, you've had 2 days to be on the ice with these guys in camp here in Arizona. How have they looked after the first 2 days?
Honestly, we talked about this in the room with the guys. They show up as the best version of themselves on day 1 and day 2 all the time. And so, it's important for them to take note of that person, and it's important for us to also take note of that person because they usually come in at a pretty high standard.
It's a different camp than you are normally used to seeing in the NHL. With most of the NHL group is in Australia. What's the message to the guys left here? Because it could be frustrating for a guy. Hey, why aren't I in Australia? What's the message from a coaching staff perspective to the guys that are still here?
Well, you know what? We had a pretty good discussion about that very topic with the boys coming in. We don't want to play the victim here. You had an opportunity to come to camp, and the guy that usually comes out on top is the guy that executes his plan no matter who's watching. And so, you know what, there are some important people here watching, and to be honest, we're just trying to always refine our fundamentals, our skills, and our habits. And so that's been the message. Don't play the victim, be the executor.
You've got an interesting weekend ahead. You've got 3 games in a matter of 24 hours in 3 cities. with a limited number of players. How do you as a coaching staff prepare for all of those things over the next 24 to 48 hours?
Well, it's very simple. We've been in the American League a long time, so we know, and we've lived through COVID. So honestly, it's just about being fluid. Whatever's in front of us, we just accept.
What are you looking for from some of these players over the next 2 days of games?
Yeah, I want to see how they respond. Bear's message in camp in rookie tournament was how they respond to some challenges. And then I also want to see how they respond when they've had success. So basically, it's just seeing their responses after failure and after successes.
And for this next few games, you're going to be coaching the NHL bench, but when the season starts, you're coaching the Tucson Roadrunners, and a lot of those players are here right now. Are you starting to get excited for what you might have in the future this season down in Tucson?
Absolutely. Management's done a good job of researching not just talented players, but I think they've done a good job of researching quality humans, and honestly just being with them for a short period. As I said, they came in as their best version of themselves, so we'll see how that unfolds, but so far it's been a great start. I've been impressed with the start.
It's interesting because with three teams virtually playing at the same time across 2 continents, and we've talked about all that, there's not enough staff to go around. So as I look at the benches in Wichita and St. Louis, a couple of new faces out there. Lee Stepniak will be behind an NHL bench for the first time, and Nathaniel Brooks will also be coaching this weekend. Are you concerned with those guys snipping at your heels? And is like Lee Stepniak, like is he going to take the coaching route now?
Well, you know what? I hope he pushes me. You know what? I hope he pushes me. That's what we tell the players. So this is an opportunity for me to practice with some quality people in behind. Got to be sharp. Got to be sharp.
We talk again lastly about Tucson. And last year, this club suffers injuries or you suffer injuries, and that changes your perspective. And we always talk about the mix of winning and development down in Tucson. And I don't want to get expectations too high for the fans down in Tucson, but is this a team that you think can compete for a playoff position? Is this a team that compete for a division? Where do you think these guys potentially can lay out for Tucson?
You know what? It's up to us. And I think it's literally being in the moment. We got to take each day at a time, but I know for certain we're going to be ready for the start of the season. I know for certain we're going to hammer down on fundamentals. I know for certain that we're going to be united on defense. And we're going to spend a lot of time working on power plays and those things. And so, if we do put all those things together, we get some solid goaltending, it's up to us. We'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Coach, he's going to have his hands full, and partly because you can't turn to those NHL guys on the ice. You can't turn it over to Clayton Keller. You can't get J.J. Moser and Dumba and Zucker on the ice. You got to rely on the people you have. So they're going up against a legit NHL roster in the St. Louis Blues. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys fare over the weekend. And one other guy we had an opportunity to speak to was Coyotes' future defenseman, Maverick Lamoureux. And I tell you what's funny, we literally had to change the tripod. The tripod doesn't go high enough. The guy is 6'7". He is massive on skates, but he had a great rookie tournament. And let's see what Maverick Lamoureux's thoughts are going into this weekend.
Talking to Coyotes defenseman Maverick Lamoureux after we adjusted the tripod for a little different height from Doan and Geekie. Maverick, just want to go through your weekend at rookie camp.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit how you felt your game was over that weekend?
Yeah, I felt amazingly, really good. I've got some good feedbacks from the team too, but overall, played my game even more mature than I was last year. Even a more safe game, I would say, for a big defenseman. Did some good hit, moved the puck well, jump in the rush, had some good shots, some good chances. So overall, I was really happy with my games. Really happy to finally show up with some other NHL prospects too.
And you look at where your game was a year ago.
Yeah.
At this time versus now, you're a bigger kid. Last year you went some injuries. So was it important for you to have that good start at rookie camp leading into this camp?
Yeah, of course it was. I didn't show out last year. I couldn't do my stuff. So especially coming in this year, I'm bigger, like you said. I'm stronger too. I was more confident because I saw and I learned from last year, and because I was there at rookie camp, I was just watching. So finally, just doing my stuff, playing, being with those guys, I felt way more confident this year too.
One of the things I noticed watching your game is how well you skate, especially for a big man. Is that something over the last year that you're really focused on, is improving your skating?
Yes, it always was. I've always been really mobile for my size, but I feel my explosion was something I needed to work on, especially at this level. The guys are stronger, quicker now, And of course, I had so much time like practicing it, especially during my rehab. Lars came to Drummondville, I think 3 or 4 times, and like during my rehab here, like in Arizona, I was skating with him. So that really helped me on that side too. That's for sure.
What about your partner for most of this rink tournament? You played with Max Zuber a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty dangerous pair out there. Like you're physically, you get the puck well, you get all the defensive zone starts. What was it like playing with him as a partner?
It was really nice. We've had like a lot of good communication too, and I feel it's so much important. So I'm a good friend with him now. I spent a lot of time, couple of weeks with him now, so we got closer. So we've got like good communication. We both move the puck really well. We're both big. We're both physical. So I don't think the other team liked playing against us at that tournament. That's for sure.
No, for sure. And you noticed it. Your stick was great. You defended really well, and so did he. He brings that physical component. But both of you had that offensive side that I wasn't quite ready for. Like you literally both played both sides of the puck, so it was exciting. But now, how do you carry all of that over to this weekend where you're playing against NHL caliber players this weekend? Can you carry the momentum from rookie tournament into this weekend?
Yeah, and that's what I got to do. I can't slow down, especially now against the old guys, and I can't try to do too much because I'm playing against NHL guys. I got to do the same thing that I was doing in the rookie tournament, and that's what Curtis Foster, like he's been working with me a lot here, and that's what he told me. He's like, you did really well, but like do the same thing. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do less. Just keep doing what you were doing, and that'll be perfect for me. So that's what I'll go into those games thinking. That's what I'll do during those games. Yeah.
Thanks for your time, Maverick, and good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you late next week.
No problem.
Well, I know all the exciting stuff's happening over in Australia. I know we get to see Craig and Leah drinking their coffee and going on all their little cute tours, but there's still a lot of hockey happening here in Arizona. Thanks for joining me today. I know this was a real quick episode, but thanks for joining me for this extra edition of the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Stay tuned here. We're going to be covering everything on Monday from all 5 games that occurred over this weekend, so keep it tuned here. Follow me, S. Peters Hockey. Follow Leah at Leah Merrill and at Craig S. Morgan, and the show at PHNX_Coyotes. We'll see you next time. We'll see you Monday at 11 on the PHNX Coyotes Show.